Hey there, cats and kitties. I am the Blues Man, Johnny Blues, and with this video, we'll be discussing my thoughts on episode 12 of the anime series Mobile Suit Gundam Iron-Blooded Orphans. This episode really threw me for a loop in a good way. Like I was almost half expecting a happily ever after for Akihiro and his brother Masahiro. They really seem to have this, strategized really well for a payoff that really would have been a happily ever after, seeing these brothers reunited and the fallout between them that occurs mostly on Masahiro's side was kind of unexpected to me. And what he does in the end is just like, whoa, I didn't see that coming. I guess lesson learned, you don't tell your lesser fortunate brother how good you got it before getting them home. You don't start waxing intellectual about the hot meals and the brotherhood and the family, the roof over your head before you get him back there, even if it's tacked on as a promise of things to come for him. You're here to save him and bring him back into this. He's going to think, with all that psychological pent-up frustration and turmoil, seeing friends' lives lost, feeling very much like human debris, like just a slave who is worthless and meaningless, treated like garbage. I guess he's going to think, wow, you really did move on. You really did forget about me. You really just had a great life, and now I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you what it's all about. Let me bring home, once again, the cold reality of this life we're living. And on the one hand, I can understand where Masahiro was coming from, but at the same time, it was so tragic. I was cringing. I was like, no, don't do this, please. I loved the idea of Akihiro being able to save his brother, bring him back into Tekadon, and effect for him a positive change the way it has been ongoing. Even to this point, once again, Akihiro is starting him with the human debris thing. And the older guy's like, knock it off. Shut up with that already. We're beyond that. So, I was actually kind of really hopeful, especially having a younger sister myself, who I consider my best friend. Here are two brothers who just universal divide between them because one was stolen from the other. And they care enough about each other to kind of come together on the battlefield. But it's through those words and sort of misunderstanding and all that rage coming to the fore for Masahiro, it's not going to work. And it was heartbreaking seeing that, because even as sort of, plot convenient as it was, as I was talking about last episode, by this point I was like, okay, they have a really clear-cut stratagem. This can work out. And I thought that was very interesting. They're plotting through this, debris field and everything. And, because of the different reactors, there's gravity wells and staying well hidden. They plot it out. They're going to send in decoys, and then they're going to come in from the side because they know the brewers are in there and everything like that. And I thought it was interesting how, they described that this plotting out was done by, the ship's navigator or whatever. And this coincides with dialogue talking about, well, how does everyone seem to know where we are? And unless I'm much mistaken, is not Fumitan the navigator? And she's already kind of suspicious to me, what is she doing? What is she up to? Is she maybe playing both sides? Is she keeping people apprised, thinking she's doing it for the greater good, for Cordelia? I don't know, but we do finally have explicitly stated by the brewers themselves that this mission is for Galahorn. In case there was any doubt through the dialogue of the previous episode that Galahorn and this pirate faction were working in tandem or had the same information, well, now we see explicitly they're trying to get in Galahorn's better graces. Their sort of main objective is get Cordelia as long as they can get her. Even if they don't defeat these forces, as long as they get their hands on her, they can, get in Galahorn's good graces. They can get rewards from that, or so they believe. And, would somebody just kill this Kudal guy already? He was pissing me off. Laying the hands on the younger guys and just, being a real slippery, he's got these kids dying in the battlefield, and he's calling them, useless and worthless after they're dead. It's shut the hell up. Somebody kill him already, please. But, just, man, the heart-wrenching nature of Akihiro being so close to his brother. I mean, they were in mobile suits, okay, but they were embraced together. They were there together, face to face. They actually got a chance to talk. And unfortunately, it was that dialogue, that talk between them, that unraveled any sense of hope. I mean, Masahiro, as somebody who has lived such a harsh life, he's come to the conclusion that hope is the bane of his existence. Believing that you can accomplish something greater, that you can one day be free of whatever plight you find yourself in. It can be the driving force for good. It can keep you going. But at the same time, when it seems as though all hope is lost, you almost feel like you're tricking yourself into trying to hold on for something that'll never occur. And that's how he feels. And for, Kudal to come in and he's going to plow right into Akihiro. And as soon as they were lining that up, I knew what was going to happen. I suspected what was going to happen. And it still was heart-wrenching to me seeing it happen. But, of course, they play it up for drama very exquisitely so with, Masahiro pushing his brother away. And you see that flashback to them younger, as if that is the brothers pushing themselves away. It's like calling back on when they kind of gave up on each other. They didn't know if they'd ever find each other again, and these are the lives we choose for each other, for ourselves. And so Kudal plows right into his mobile suit. And I don't think you're walking away from that one. Akihiro's got to get the hell out of there and get back to the main, ships and everything. And I mean, the entire battle sequence, it was interesting, but I mean, I felt like, Miyazuki was basically dominating the entire affair. They did try to throw a few loops in there and then, but he and Laughter especially, they were just kicking all kinds of ass. I wouldn't say it was necessarily one-sided on Miyazuki's, on his frame and everything with the Barbados, but it definitely seemed like, the Brewers weren't going to be putting up much of a fight. He took them out pretty easily, and it was down to a hell of a clever stratagem. Of course, we see some of, Takadon have boarded the Brewers' main vessel, and some of them have gotten caught in the crossfire. So it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. Like, are they going to just, drop things and run at this stage? Are they going to try to take command of the Brewers' main vessel to take them out for the count, make sure they're no longer a threat as they continue their course through this section of space and whatever like that? I don't know. It's going to be interesting to find out, but whatever the case, next episode seems to really be playing up the funerary procession, and it's probably going to be for those who were lost from Tekadon, but it's probably going to be pointedly Akihiro mourning his brother. And that's interesting. I mean, for the course of the series, it seems like so much of what Tekadon is meant to do and accomplish, the chips are stacked against them. And I mean, I've been talking about in these episode discussion videos, how realistic are their goals? Is there really any hope of success in getting Cordelia to Earth? And then what's going to happen if they do? With Galahorn and pirates and all these other people after them. I really had begun to think that when they first began sustaining losses, it would be one of these notable characters. And it would be something very much, poignant to that whole idea of them being a family. Like, they would really feel it resonatingly so. And that could still be the case, but I mean, at this point, to really be feeling a sense of mourning, and it's someone who is just an extension of one of their own that none of them really knew. It's interesting bringing it in that way, if you know what I'm saying. Putting the foot in the door that way with somebody they really didn't know, but it's still kind of considered to be part of the family and everything like that. I just find that quite interesting. And yeah, it's going to be interesting to see where they go from here, how this all plays out in the next episode. So I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments below. If you've seen episode 12 of Iron-Blooded Orphans, what you thought of it, if you were as surprised as I was, how this all played out with Akihito and his brother, or if you saw this coming, if you had a sense that that was going to be how it played out, and whether you think it was effective or not. Love having that conversation. That'll be pretty much it for me on this. Hope this video finds you well, and I'll catch you all later. Peace.